Welcome to Financial Investing Radio, where you'll learn the secrets for consistent, high-probability returns in the financial markets for additional income to change your life. Grant creates consistent, high-probability trading systems for the financial markets and has applied them over the past 5 years. He's only recently started sharing these tried and true market secrets. As a gift to listeners, Grant is offering his high-probability indicators for free. Go to financialinvestingradio.com and download yours today. Now, here's your host and trading veteran, Grant Larson.
Hey everybody, this is Grant. Hey, thanks for joining. The movie moves, right? It's a volatile ride. So I wanted to tell you, growing up, my dad, he was quite the gardener. I was never good at that, but he grew a lot of things. And for a while, we even had lemon trees and lime trees. Anyway, at one point, I lived in an area where there were orange trees. And one day, we pulled alongside the road, found some trees, and they weren't on anyone's property that we could tell. So they were loaded with oranges. And we thought, wow, found the mother lode. So there were lots of them. They were right there, ready for picking. So we picked a few. Didn't take many, but took a few. Got into the car, excited about our discovery. And as we took a bite, we discovered they were very bitter and that they were not oranges. You turned out that, some things aren't what they seem. So Netflix can be that way as it comes to stock trading. All right, it's got a lot of volatility. It requires a real steady hand. I was going to say a heady stand, a real steady hand. Now, the safest gear shift that I found with Netflix, NFLX, is on the Composite Index. So if you've been looking at on stocks, I've been using two charts to help with the market effectiveness chart. One's against the futures. In this case, it would be against the Nasdaq futures. The other is against the Composite Index for the Nasdaq. Now, quite frankly, because of the amount of volatility, using the Composite Index one, it's going to save you some heartache because you're going to get a lot of false signals, and it's going to make it really hard. Is that so much up and down on this? If you go to financialinvestingradio.com and go to the podcast charts and videos section, go to FIR number 18. On the market effectiveness chart, I've only included the gear shift for the Composite Index, right? As I'd mentioned, Netflix comes out of alignment a lot with the Nasdaq futures engine. It gives me too many choppy signals, chasing things that aren't real. So by doing this, though, it reduces the number of signals, but it makes them more highly probable. So there will be some moves that you'll miss with it, but, capital preservation is key. So another important thing to note is the nature of the market engine indicator patterns on the Nasdaq engine. Now, in this podcast, I'm going to introduce a very simple pattern. Quite frankly, it's just a trend line break on that indicator. So I'll show you some examples. So go open up the charts that I put out there and follow along. I also put a video out there as well. All right, so there's three trade opportunities that I'm going to discuss. So the first opportunity, the market effectiveness chart, you're going to see if you look to the left there, its gear shift starts on February 23rd. And for Netflix, it typically follows the pattern of going with the market effectiveness chart gear shift first, and then the indicator pattern second, and then the engine confirmation lines third. Those are the yellow and red and green ones. So it tends to follow that order. All right, not all stocks do. We were looking at Apple. Apple will mix them up a little bit. Walmart stays pretty consistent with it. Anyway, you still want the three. Okay, so on this first opportunity, the market effectiveness chart gear shift February 23rd. On the indicator pattern was a divergence. There's a really small divergence. Kind of have to squint, right, to see that. But it's a divergence. It's also a trend line break on that indicator pattern. That also happened on February 23rd. And then the market engine confirmation lines, so that's the yellow and red ones, Those came out on the 28th. And if you look up on the chart there, on the trading chart, you'll see that the yellow and red came down. Now that was just a 4-day, 5-day, 6 maybe day trade, and then the setup started to switch again. So, and that leads me to trade opportunity number 2. So here the market effectiveness charts gear shift happened on March 3rd. Doesn't mean that we immediately got out of the previous trade or that we entered a new one. Doesn't mean that. Just said, all right, the market's telling us it's trying to prepare to go another direction on Netflix. And so the second thing that happened was on March 10th, so this is a week later, the indicator pattern gave a half back. So if you look closely, you'll see H2 on that trading chart. You can see it comes down across from the top of the orange line, chops around the 0 bit, and then it crosses that break line and bounces up. So I only look for those when I've had on Netflix, when I've had the gear shift. So the gear shift occurs, I draw the line, I'm looking for it. Okay, there's the halfback. That's H2 on the chart. And then the final is a couple days later, March 13th. That's the market engine confirmation line. So that's the yellow and the green. That gives you another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 days into that trade. And then you get out of it or at least you tighten the stops, because then you see the yellow and the green lines start shooting back down. The last opportunity that I'll mention here, the third opportunity, the market effectiveness chart gear shift takes place on April 21st. The indicator pattern is a divergence pattern. That's not right. It's not divergence. My fault. It is a trend line break on the indicator, and that's April 23rd, 24th. I'm going to start over with trade opportunity 3. One more time. Okay, on April 21st, we have the gear shift on the market effectiveness chart. And then on April 24th, we have the trend break on the indicator pattern. And also on April 24th, we got the yellow and the green indicator coming out of the top there with the engine up on the price. That's a real strong move. That one you're in for probably a couple weeks worth. Okay, now the interesting thing about Netflix is that if you step back and look at that, the initial gear shifts seem to be on a rotational pattern from 5 to 6 weeks apart. There's no guarantee of that, but just saying, right? Keep your eyes open. In other words, February 23rd was the first gear shift to March 3rd was the next gear shift to April 21st. 5 to 6 week period of time that those are happening. Okay. Well, let's see. Be careful with this one. It's a volatile ride. There's a lot of other investing opportunities that I think personally are safer to ride than this one. And as always, watch out for those fruits that aren't easy to eat. And this might be one of those, right? With Netflix. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for your time. Until next time, trade safe.
Thank you for joining Grant on Financial Investing Radio. Remember to subscribe and leave feedback. Don't forget to download your free high probability indicators before your next trade. Visit financialinvestingradio.com now.